Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
And thanks for joining us for another edition of the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig, and in a moment we'll be joined by City Manager Mark Roloff. As usual, in the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including items from city departments and things happening in Oshkosh. In the second half, we'll highlight items from the upcoming Tuesday, July 12th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in City Manager Roloff, and thank you for being here today.
Great to be here, Andy.
All right. Well, we have a lot to talk about today. And one thing that's actually pretty exciting is that there's a new section of the Oshkosh Riverwalk that recently opened. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'm always excited when we have another section of the Riverwalk opening. This is the area just east of South Main Street, going over to what was formerly Pioneer Drive over to what is still Pioneer Drive going north-south. So now Pioneer Drive, everybody will recognize as being a north-south street. But this is where it starts out. You can see the rail lift bridge over there just beyond the Leach Amphitheater. But Scott Williams got another great view from our Oshkosh Media drone to give you a rough idea of what it looks like. This is basically getting up to, but not over, onto Pioneer Island. So we're real excited about this. We've probably acquired over $5 million in grants over the last 10 years towards the completion of the Riverwalk. We got a little bit of grant money this time, not a lot, I don't believe, but the idea behind it is to connect our trail system. And it's the secret's out, because we know that we've had people go and take a look at over towards the bottom of the screen there. The old rail bridge archway is there for people to kind of enjoy. It's got the little 1899.
It's a nod to the past.
Nod to the past, and we have the matching one a little farther west along the river, but it's an incredible addition to our waterfront. And I know that the Best Western Hotel is letting guests know here's where you can go to run or walk. Here's a new addition. You can get down, to the mouth of the Fox. So obviously, it's always about, if we want to celebrate what we have, but celebrate what is yet to come. And as we move on, we'll eventually get over to Pioneer Island itself, so people can get all the way to the tip of Pioneer Island and enjoy the panoramic view of Lake Winnebago. So it's exciting, and just one step at a time in terms of completing our Riverwalk system.
Sure, and we'll talk about it more in a minute, but that also is a nice amenity for the new development over at the Sawdust District area. It
is. We're going to talk about that, and the other thing that you could notice from the live photos now, as opposed to the renderings, are locations for fishing as well. So if you're an angler and you want to get out there and do a little fishing, this is a great place to do it as well. And so we're welcoming, regardless if you want to walk, run, or even do a little fishing, we certainly want to see you down at the down on the river.
Okay, very good. Well, staying downtown and talking about another recent development downtown, is we have the designated outdoor refreshment area, otherwise known as DORA, and that is now in place. But if you could fill us in a little bit, I know that this was recently passed at the most recent City Council meeting, and so when does this go into effect?
We have been working closely with the Business Improvement District. Jessica Meidels, the bid director, and she's been doing a great job of getting everything prepared for this. They still want to, the bid, want to continue to work with the businesses that are going to be benefiting from the DORA to make sure that they have the right communication materials, education materials for the members of the public who will want to partake in this. So they're not planning to really start it until July 14th, which is the next Thursday that comes up in that schedule. Okay. So that's when they'll do it. It'll be 5 to 9 p.m. on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. and there's a designated district that was approved by the city council. It's a little bigger than what we had originally talked about, but it goes just past Irving into the 700 block a little bit, basically past the Los Europeos restaurant, and pretty much hugs the sides of Jefferson on the east and Division Street on the west, and then down where it pretty much hugs most of the border of the Downtown Business Improvement District. So that's the general area. I know the bid would like to put up some signage to make people aware of these boundaries so that people comply with all the rules and regulations. But essentially, the idea is for the businesses on Main Street that serve alcoholic beverages, their patrons can leave with a beverage, open it up on Main Street, and feel free to enjoy it. But of course, we want people to be responsible. We don't want people to overindulge and be a disruption to the public. We want them to throw away their containers. Basic common courtesy stuff that the bid and their businesses, as well as the other businesses in this area, they recognize. I've spoken with several of the businesses that are going to be benefiting from this, and they know that they need to do the right and responsible thing. And I gave them sort of a stern fatherly look when it was approved, and it's like, you know what you have to do. And they were like, yeah, we know what we need to do, Mark. It's okay. So I absolutely trust that they're going to do the responsible thing, because they know if they don't, I'll have to step in a little bit. But I don't think that'll be necessary.
Okay, and this is a pilot program.
It is a pilot program, so it will end at the end of the farmers market season, which is really what the bid had been hoping for. So that'll be October 29th will be the last farmers market. So that'll be the last Dora night. Then we evaluate it and decide if we want to continue it, if so where, all those types of things. But we certainly want to give it its best shot at being successful and safe, and we'll take a look at that and we'll take it from there.
Okay, and watch our social media, City of Oshkosh social media. We'll post some updates, just reminders about the dates and everything relating to the designated outdoor refreshment area. Okay, Mark, also another item that people are still talking about, and just we wanted to provide an update. The Oregon-Jackson Street Bridge is still in disrepair, and we're awaiting some parts that are being fabricated.
Right. Of course, I always like to mention the Wisconsin Department of Transportation is responsible for the bridge, but most people think we are, so that's why we do these updates. So, but after that routine inspection that was done in May, they found some gears that were in very rough condition. I think we have some photos of those, but that area that looks like it's two different levels, that's ground up gear there, folks. So obviously the person who inspected it actually knew there was a problem just by the sound. They did the visual inspection and found these problems. These are not something that you get off the shelf. These are custom-made types of gears. So the DOT had to find a firm that could actually manufacture these, and that's going to take about 8 weeks to get it just manufactured, and then another week to get it installed. So it's already been a couple weeks in, but from what we're hearing still, it should be ready about late August, perhaps the last week of August. So, as you can see from the video here, the bridge is up because of the danger of it posing for it to be non-operational, those gears completely failing and cause a danger. So we have to take precautions to make sure that doesn't happen.
Sure. And I believe the one leaf is up to allow the marine traffic on that side. So they're trying to work with everything with it. And I know that one item that came in through social media, somebody asked about, well, if that one leaf that's up there is functional, couldn't that just open and close to provide functionality for the bridge? But there's really more to it than that.
Yeah, there is. And I had to hear this from the engineer with the DOT who's the expert at this. But the bridge needs to close together and mesh together to get it done properly. And with the bridge in the condition it's in, the one side of the bridge, it can't close properly. So that is unfortunately not something they can do. They can't leave the bad one down and then let the other one just keep opening and closing, because they have to be open and closing and meshing together. And because there's a danger in that bridge never moving, they can't take that risk. So it has to remain in the way it is. Great suggestion. I can tell you that similar type of question was asked but already answered. And so I heard about the mesh answer, and it really it needs to mesh in order for it to go properly. So thanks for the questions. I'm totally okay passing on these questions and getting answers. So if you have another idea, certainly pass it along. We'll certainly get an answer and get people aware of what's going on. But hang on, we're already into July, and by the end of August, the idea is that it'll be open for business again.
Okay, very good. We'll keep an eye on that. All right. Also, over at the Oshkosh Public Museum, they have a new program for families. It's called Family Discovery Days. And it's a great way for families to get together and provide an opportunity to do an activity together.
I'm really excited that our new museum director, Sarah Phillips, and her staff, Anna Canizo, our assistant director and curator, they're coming up with all these great ideas, and the staff has just been thinking of different things. But one of the things we know we want to do is we want to be able to welcome families into the museum to experience the museum. So this is a way to experience some interactive activity, and it's scheduled for every second Saturday of the month. You can drop in any time between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. at the museum for a fun craft activity led by our museum staff. And so these are just a couple of the examples of what the young learners can do. It's for young learners of all ages. I think even mom and dad can partake a little bit.
Sure.
But ages 5 to 10 are really our target audience, and they'll especially enjoy the activities. So now maybe you can enjoy, if you're mom and dad, you can enjoy the museum a little bit. So you can have your kids be entertained with the activities, and you can enjoy the museum, and then the kids themselves can learn about the value of a public museum and enjoy it themselves in their own way, because everybody what trips are triggered differs, and we're certainly happy to have our museum staff make learning a fun experience for young folks in town.
Sure. And July 9th features boat racing. So the kids can create a boat out of recycled materials.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a way also to talk about how to recycle. So it's another valuable lesson. And all the materials are supplied. So don't bring your own junk down to do it. We've got plenty of recycled materials for you to work on, and then have fun racing and doing all those fun things. So there's a lot of stuff going on at the museum. So certainly visit OshkoshMuseum.org for details, and you'll hear about all the different things going on. The Helen Farnsworth Mears exhibit going on right now, and just any of the other things. So we also have to mention, because we get some great sponsors for this stuff, the museum appreciates the sponsorship of the Nevitt Law Office for this program. So, local businesses willing to sponsor the museum and promote this type of stuff, it's a great combination, and I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. All right. Also over at the Oshkosh Public Library, they have a lot of exciting things going on for the summer, and one thing that they're particularly excited about is their Summer Reading Challenge.
This is a throwdown for the entire community, because the challenge that the library has thrown down for our entire community is to have 1 million minutes of reading for the summer. And this is, they're asking kids, teens, adults to collectively read 1 million minutes this summer. So the challenge began on June 1st, and it runs through August. So we're only a little over a month in, and good news, we are in good shape. We've already had our patrons log 687,000 minutes so far, with 4 weeks to go in this. So I guess the challenge runs through August 13th. So we're on our way to doing this, but don't give up now. And if you haven't participated in it, swing by the library and sign up for it and grab a book that you can read this summer. It's a great way to pass on the value of reading to younger generations. And there's going to be rewards for your reading. Local businesses have donated prizes for all the different age groups. So we're going to make reading fun and a little bit rewarding. So there's a little bit of a bribe in it, but the library does a great job. And if you already get 687,000 minutes read already, we're in pretty decent shape, and I'm really excited about this.
That's pretty good. Just wanted to pass along another fun fact about the library, and I don't know if many people actually were aware of this, but the library also has games available for checkout, lawn games. So you can actually go and get a croquet set and check it out with your Oshkosh Public Library card.
Yeah, there's also cornhole, bocce ball, different summer activities. So if you're having a family picnic and you have thought about maybe one of these things, you can go down to the library and borrow it just like a book. And I think the idea is that, reading's important, but fun is important too. And they want to make those resources available for the public. And even if you can't afford it, it's free at the library.
And I believe they have 7 different games available for checkout. So you can be sure to check that out at your Oshkosh Public Library. Okay, and Mark, just to wrap up, recently the 4th of July holiday, and we wanted to thank Festival Foods again for the sponsorship of the wonderful fireworks show.
Yeah, and our local Rotary clubs helped make the event successful. Parks Department arranged for food trucks to be in Menominee Park on the 4th. Unlike other communities around us, Mother Nature was kind to us, so we were able to pull off our fireworks show on July 4th, which we were happy. I know there was a lot of anxiety. Well, I was anxious too. I wanted to see the fireworks show as well. There was also, once again, a successful parade took place on Main Street and Irving Avenue. So we were real happy about that we were able to pull that off. And of course, Oshkosh Media was there, so you can relive a lot of that yourself, right, Andy?
That's right. If you tune in to the Oshkosh Media Life TV and check schedules, the replays of the Oshkosh 4th of July Parade are there. And you can also check the Oshkosh Media YouTube channel, and you can watch that parade on demand. So feel free to check it out and take a look if you didn't get to see it. So I believe it's time to take a quick break, Mark, and we'll be back right after this quick break, and we'll take a look at the Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda for the upcoming meeting. We'll be right back.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
I think it goes around.
Let's go. We gotta get you in practice.
And it's set.
And welcome back to the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig along with City Manager Mark Roloff. Let's turn our attention now to the agenda items from the upcoming July 12th Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And we have a lot of things on the agenda. Coming up at the beginning of the meeting, we have a public hearing, and this relates to some community development block grant funding.
Yes, the Community Development Block Grant Program is a program funded by the federal government. It's CDBG for short. And one of the requirements of the program is for the city to use the funds to benefit low to moderate income individuals. And they also require a public hearing so that the public has an opportunity to provide input on what the plans are for our community development block grant dollars for the upcoming year. So the hearing is to get that type of input. And I can tell you that we've got some programs that have been going on for quite a while in terms of rental improvement assistance, housing improvement assistance for low and moderate income families, but a lot of other different programs that are primarily geared towards housing and blight removal.
Okay.
And so we're real happy to be able to offer those types of services through the Community Development Block Grant Program. We get right now about $800,000 a year. And the federal government's been doing this for, I believe, close to 48 years now. So it's been one of the more successful federal programs to address issues that low and moderate income individuals face. So we're real excited about being able to continue providing this program.
Okay. It's a variety of things that this provides funding for.
Yeah, and you can certainly take a look at the agenda packet where all the details of the program are, but some of the rental improvement assistance, ownership, housing assistance for improvements, things like that. Those have been pretty standard throughout the life of our program.
Okay, very good. Then under the consent agenda, we have an item. Seems a little odd to talk about this time of year, Mark, but we're planning ahead. We're talking about purchasing road salt.
Yeah, well, you wonder what we're doing in preparation for the winter. Well, part of that preparation means you start in the summer. So we actually participate in a joint purchase program through the Wisconsin Department of Transportation for road salt. They bid it out statewide, and we get the best prices possible to get our salt ordered. Now, we actually take our first delivery in September, which is called early fill. Before it gets snowy and crazy and everything, we make sure that our salt shed is full so that no matter when Mother Nature decides that she wants to mess with us for the winter season, we are ready for that. So we start the process very early, and so this is just an example of what happens when the salt gets delivered. But the idea is by the end of September, our shed will be filled and we will be prepared for the winter, and that's something that I've always pushed with staff to make sure. I have some good news to report that actually the salt prices actually went down with all this inflation going on that all of us are dealing with. The salt prices went down. I think that's a reflection of our joint purchasing with the state that we get the best price possible.
All right, very good. Nice to see the price come down on something. We don't get to talk about that very often.
We have not been talking about that recently, so I was pleasantly surprised when I got that news.
Okay, all right. Then we have another item, and this is an unfortunate thing. We have to remove a lot of these ash trees that are dying due to the emerald ash borer, but we're looking to award bid for removal of some of these trees, but also maybe to replace some of the trees.
Yeah, there's a little bit of hope in all this, but the emerald ash borer has just devastated our ash tree population in the city. So, we're removing ash trees throughout the year. This video is from the winter when we were removing ash trees. But we know that as these ash trees die, they're very brittle and they can cause a hazard by branches falling and hurting people. So we want to make sure that they get down as soon as possible so that the danger is gone. So part of this program is to number one, we have to do a budget transfer. These are not budgeted funds, but we have a good, strong fund balance. So we're going to use some of our fund balance that basically the taxpayers have already paid for this. So we want to take care of it. But we're going to spend over $225,000 in removing ash trees. But then, as you said, we haven't had a plan in place to actually replant trees, and we know we need to do that. Right. And that is probably the number one question I've been getting since we've started to remove ash trees is, when are you going to replace? So this, what's being proposed is nearly $100,000 in additional funds will be forwarded to the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation, and they're going to use the funds that we provide to the foundation as leverage to get private donations, and then there will be a tree planting program. We'll get a mixture of different species of trees so that we aren't putting all of our proverbial eggs in one basket. We want to make sure that we have a variety of trees that will be able to withstand all the elements that get posed to them. But we're excited that the Community Foundation is working with us on this program.
Okay, it's unfortunate to see those trees go out, but nice to know that we have some hope of seeing some replacement.
Yeah.
Okay, continuing on the consent agenda, we have some special assessments for improvements over at East 9th Avenue.
Yeah, well, this is about street improvements that's actually partially due to another item on the agenda, which is the development on the east side of South Main Street, which is what's been known as the Mill on Main. So this is a little rendering of overview of what the basic land use will be. It'll be what's called a mixed land use, which is both residential and commercial. But on the lower portion of this graphic, you'll see East 9th Avenue, which currently dead ends east of South Main Street, will connect back to Pioneer Drive. And as we talked about earlier with the Riverwalk, Pioneer Drive has been closed. This will reopen it to through traffic. So the good news is that for people to get directions to downtown or to Pioneer Island or to the Mill on Main, it'll be you get off of Interstate 41 at 9th Avenue and just
head east.
Head east, and you'll be there in no time. So this is a rendering of what it looks like, but getting East 9th done, and we do a special assess for a portion of the costs, and so that's part of this process. But the idea is it's getting ready to open up Mill on Main as well as the Pioneer Island eventually get reopened. So here are some great renderings of what the Mill on Main will look like. These are various shots that are being done, but you can see about 5 stories of development, first floor commercial primarily, and then residential above. So we're excited about that. And then most recently, the developers came with a proposal that we haven't seen in a while because for whatever reason they kind of fell out of favor. But here's the view from the river, which is great. But a new proposal for rooftop signage, which we have not allowed in the city for a very long time. And quite honestly, I have no idea. I'm sure there's a reason from the past, but I don't know what that reason is. So the developers have said, look, we've seen this in other places. We've done it with our developments in the Madison area, and these rooftops can provide something of a place marker. So this would be facing downtown as well as the river, and the Sawdust District logo, which is that sort of saw blade type of circular thing, is proposed there as well. So some interesting additions to making people aware that they've arrived at downtown and the Sawdust District and things like that. So I'm excited about this and look forward to seeing this in the future.
Okay, pretty exciting stuff. All right, also in consent, we have a lot of different block parties and special events, and a lot of these are being held on August 2nd, which is the day for National Night Out.
Yeah, so we just want to do a nice plug to say National Night Out is going to be August 2nd at various neighborhood associations. If you belong to one of the neighborhood associations, check it out. You can also contact Officer Kate Mann at the address shown there, and we certainly want to see people participate, but check with your neighborhood association. It'll be real exciting. Mm-hmm.
Certainly. We'll be promoting that on social media as well, and you can look for more information about it. Okay, also then, Mark, we have another item under new resolutions, and we're approving a fee schedule. This relates to sewer.
Well, annually we review all of our fees, and one of the things we do with our utilities is take a look at various things such as maintenance costs as well as what's called debt service requirements. We have to have a certain amount of income to cover our debt obligations. We've been doing a lot of improvements. We have sewers that still date back to the 1880s that we have to replace, and so that adds to our costs, and we have to cover debt for that. So, drum roll, please. This isn't something I'm necessarily proud of, but certainly it's necessary. But we're looking at about a $3.06 a month increase. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, and I hope it's not for most people, but it still represents an 8.7% increase in our sewer rates. We aren't going to be looking at any water rate increase this year. We're trying to figure out a way that we can stagger those, but we certainly have to address making up for lost time and getting our sewers repaired, and this is part of that process. So understand that we're doing improvements that will help benefit the entire sewer system, which is good for everybody. Mm-hmm.
Trying to manage the costs.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I think that's about all the time that we have today, Mark, and we really appreciate your insights.
Always a pleasure, Andy.
All right. Thank you. And thank you for joining us for the City Manager's Report today. And again, that Common Council meeting is coming up at 6 p.m. That's this Tuesday, July 12th, at City Hall. 215 Church Avenue. You can watch that meeting live on GovTV, which is Spectrum Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube at OshkoshMedia.org. Or you can listen to it on the radio, Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online, and on the TuneIn Radio app for phones and tablets. And you can always check our YouTube channel for government meeting archives and the full library of Oshkosh Media programming. Please join us again in 2 weeks for another City Managers Report. Thanks for tuning in.